In this video session, we are discussing few topics from the Chapter 2 SQL Advanced Query from Model 3, subject Database Management System. In this slide, we are discussing about more complex SQL queries. In that, the first topic is comparison involving null and three-valued logic. Let us begin with what is null. In a database, null is used to indicate the absence of any data value. For example, at the time of recording the student information, the email may be unknown, so it is recorded as null in the database. Null values are treated differently from other values. Null is used as a placeholder for unknown or inapplicable values. If a column in a table is optional, we can insert a new record or update an existing record without adding a value to this column. This means that the field will be saved with a null value. Null is used to represent a missing value that usually has one of the three different interpretations: value unknown, value not available, attribute not applicable. Value unknown means the value exists but is not known, or it is not known whether value exists or not. Value not available exists but is purposefully withheld. Attribute not applicable, undefined for this tuple. Let us take an example for three different interpretations of null value. Unknown value. A particular person has a date of birth, but it is not known. So, it is represented by null in the database. Unavailable or withheld value. A person has a landline but does not want it to be listed, so it is withheld and represented as null in the database. Not applicable attribute. An attribute, last college address, will be null for a person who has no college address because it does not apply to that person. Let us take an example of student table which consists of first name, middle name, last name, email and Instagram ID. These are the attributes of student table. Now we'll see the three different interpretation for the student table. Some student may not have a middle name. In that case, the middle name will be represented as null. This is an example for unknown value. And some student may have email address but they are not going to enter in the table. Then this can be said as unavailable or withheld values. And student may not have Instagram ID. There are few students may not use Instagram ID. Then that Instagram ID will be kept as a null. This is an example for not applicable attribute. And what is three-valued logic? Normally, the result of logical expression is true or false. However, when null is involved in the logical evaluation, then result is unknown. This is called a three-valued logic, true, false, and unknown. When the result will be the unknown when you make any comparison with a null value. For example, I am comparing null with a 0. The result will be unknown. Null is not equal to 0. The result will be null. Null is greater than 0. The result will be null. And null equal to null. The result will be null. Null is equal to nothing. Even null is not equal to null because each null could be a different. In select project join queries, the rule is that only those combinations of tuples that evaluate the logic expression of the query to true are selected. The tuple combination that evaluate to false or unknown are not selected. We have seen three-valued logic: true, false, and unknown. When we applied three-valued logic with the help of AND, OR, and NOT, this table shows the result of three-valued logic on AND, three-valued logic on OR, three-valued logic on NOT. We'll consider a simple table student and will perform the operation on three-valued logic. Now what exactly three-valued logic will say on AND? When we comparing true and true, the result will be true. When we comparing true and the result false, the output will be false. And we are checking true and unknown, the result will be unknown. Similarly, when we check false and true, the result will be false. False and false, the result will be false. False and unknown, the result will be false. Similarly, unknown with true, unknown, unknown and false, false, unknown and unknown, the result will be unknown. Let us take one example, student table, and this is a query. Here we are applying a AND operation to perform three-valued logic. Now this query want to retrieve the student ID from the student table where marks 1 should be greater than 35 and marks 2 should be greater than 35. Now when I execute this query, the first row has been get selected. Now marks 1 is 36. Now here result is true. And marks 2 is greater than 35. Yes, 38 is greater than 35. So this is true. True and true, true and true, true and true gives result true. So this query returns the student ID as 1. Next row, the marks 1 is 38. Yes, it is true. And marks 2 is 32. It is false. The true and false will return result as false. So this query does not give the student ID 2. Then we'll go for third row. The third row, the marks 1 is 40. The 40 is greater than 35. Yes, it is true. And the mark 2 is greater than null. The null may be greater than 35 or may not be 35. So this is unknown. This is null value, can say that unknown. The unknown can be either true or false. When we apply true and unknown, the result will be unknown. Means the student ID 3 is not going to return. Same way we are going to check for remaining case. This is and how the three-valued logic will perform the operation. In this slide, we are discussing about how to write query for null and not a null. The first example is to retrieve the first name of all employees who do not have supervisor. This is an employee table. By seeing this employee table, I can say that the person who is not a supervisor is James. Now how the query is going to be work? The query is select first name from employee where super underscore assistant is null. Now this query is going to check out the super assistant is null or not. Now first row has been selected. In that the super assistant is not a null. So this row is not going to be selected. So John is a supervisor. Again, second row has been selected, whereas super assistant is not a null. This row is not going to be selected because this person is also a supervisor. And third row is selected. Again, the super assistant is not a null. So this row is not going to be get selected. This process is repeated till the last row. When the gems will come, the super assistant is null. Yes, it is true. The query has written result as true. So its first name is James. This is an output. The query which is used to check is that the supervisor is null or not. Now this is an alternative query. Here we are making use of a relational operator. When we make use of a relational operator and comparing with the null, the result will return always null. Now same thing, it is going to check the first row supervisor assistant is equal to null, wrong. Second row is equal to null, wrong. Third row is equal to wrong. Fourth row is equal to wrong. So and when it is come to the eighth row, so null equal to null is true. Even though this is a true, this query is going to represent instead of a name James, it return the result as null because the null cannot be made comparison with a relational operator. So the correct query is this one to find is null or not. This is a wrong query to check whether the attribute is null or not. The another example is retrieve the first name of all the employees who have supervisor. Means this query is to check out who are all the supervisor from the employee table. Means I need to check out the supervisor assistant attribute should not contain a null value. For that we'll use an is not null. When supervisor assistant is not a null, the query is going to return true and returns the result as first name. Let us see the first row. The supervisor assistant is then having an ID. It is not a null. Now this is true. Then John is going to be returned. Now all the person are supervisor whereas James is not a supervisor. This is the result of second example. In this slide, we are discussing the second topic, that is nested queries, tuples and set or multi-set comparison. Now what is nested query? Nested queries are complete select from where block within another SQL query. That other query is called the outer query. The nested queries can also appear in the where clause of the form clause or other SQL clause as needed. In nested query, the innermost query is going to be executed only once, whereas outermost query is going to be executed repeatedly and make comparison with the innermost query. Some queries requires that existing value in the database be fetched and then used in the comparison condition. If a nested query returns a single tuple, that query result will be a single value. In such a case, the relational operator can be used for the comparison. If a nested query returns multiple tuples, the query result will be multiple values. In such a case, in all any exit operation can be used for the comparison. Let us take what is single row or single value. The if innermost query is returning only one result, then such an query we call it as an the query result will be single value. In that case, we will make use of a relational operator. If a innermost query is returning more than single row, then we will make use of an in all any exit operation for the comparison with outermost query. SQL can also allows the use of tuples of value in comparison by placing them in the parentheses. Suppose sometime I need to compare two attributes with an inner query. In that case, the attribute should be represented within the parentheses. Here the example is given as project number and hours. The project number and hours value of outermost query should be compare the result with innermost query. When you make any comparison, the whatever the attribute has been used in the outermost query, the same attribute should be specified for the comparison in innermost query. Suppose if I am comparing student ID of outermost query, then same student ID attribute should be available in the innermost query for the comparison. In this slide, we are discussing about single row subquery. What is single row subquery? If innermost subquery is returns a single result or a single row, then such a query is called as single row subquery. Then relational operators are used for comparison with an outermost query. Let us take an example. Retrieve the details of all the employees whose salary is greater than average total salary. Now from this table, I need to find out average total salary along with the person who is getting more than average total salary. For that, the query has been written as select star from employee where salary, this is an outermost query, is relational operator greater than select average salary from the employee. This is what we call nested subquery. Now in nested subquery, first innermost query is going to be get executed. Now innermost query is finding the average salary by using aggregate function. Now average salary of all the 8 employees is 35,125. We'll get result as 35,125 is an average salary. Let us assume after performing the operation. This query is going to return only single result, that is 35,125. Then here I will make use of a relational operator because innermost query returning only one result. Then now what the outermost query will do, it is going to select first row. The outermost query is always going to compare each row of the result with the innermost query. Then the first row is salary is 30,000. Now 30,000 is greater than 35,125. No, this row is not going to be get selected. It is false. Next, it is going to select second row. The second row is 40,000. Now 40,000 is compared with the 35,000. Now 40,000 is greater than 35,000. Yes, it is true. then the query, outer query is going to return the result. This result has been written. This is an true. Again, third row has been selected. Now salary of the third person is 25,000. 25,000 is greater than 35,125. No, again it is false. This row is not selected. This is how the nested queries are going to be get executed. Let us take another example. Retrieve the details of all the employees whose salary is greater than average total salary based on the department wise. Here what we have to do means we need to group by department number and we need to find the average salary of that particular department. Now this query is going to retrieve multiple value result set because of group by department number. Here group by department number means the first department, all the 5 department numbers are grouped into single result and its average value has been written. So department number 5, assume some salary is I will get as an 30,000. This is an average salary of the department number 5, 30k. Then second department number is 4 and getting result average salary as 25k, assume it, and so on. When innermost query is returning more than single result, in that case the relational operators are not going to be used. Then this query is going to throw an error. Multiple results that has been returning the result. So to overcome this problem, we will make use of a multi-row subqueries. This is about single row subqueries. The single row subqueries will be work if innermost query is returning only one result, then only we can make use of a relational operator. If innermost query is returning more than one row as a result, then the relational operators cannot be used to perform the operation. This problem can be overcome by making use of a multi-row subqueries. In this slide, we are discussing about multiple rows subqueries. In previous slide, we have seen the problem of single rows subqueries. Whenever innermost query return more than one row as a result, then with the help of a relational operator, the outermost query is not able to compare. That problem can be overcome by making use of a multiple rows subqueries. What is multiple rows subqueries? The multiple rows subqueries, if the innermost query returns more than one row as a result, then such a query is called as a multiple rows subqueries. In order to make innermost queries with a outermost queries, we'll make use of a different operator in or any exit if and only if innermost query returning more than single row as a result. Let us see an example. Retrieve the details of all the employees whose salary is equal to average total salary based on the department wise. For that, the query as written, select star from employee where salary in innermost query, select average salary from employee group by department number. Now innermost salary is going to find, innermost query is going to find out the average salary of each department. Now it is going to by using a group by department number. Now assume department 5 has been grouped and its average salary, assume its average salary is 30,000. This one result is got for average salary of department 5. Now department 4 has been grouped and its average salary will assume it as 28,000. 28,000. Now department 1 has grouped and its average salary is 55,000. This is then a result which is written by innermost query. Now outermost query, it is going to fetch each row and compare with the result in innermost query. The result of innermost query is 35, 28 and 55,000. Now outermost query is going to fetch first row. The first row person salary is 30,000. Now 30,000 salary 30,000 is going to be checked within the innermost query. If 30,000 is available as a result of innermost query or not. Now 30,000 is compared with the result of innermost query. Yes, 30,000 is available in innermost query. The query is going to be written true, and the first employee information has been displayed. Now again it is going to take second row. The second row salary is 40,000. Here we will get as a 40,000 salary as by with help of an outermost query. Now this 40,000 will be compared with the result of innermost query. 40,000 is there. 40,000 is compared with 30,000. It is not true. False. 40,000 is compared with the 28,000. It is not. False. 40,000 is checked with the 55,000. It is not. So this query is going to return false. So the second person information is not going to be dispatched. Same way third row has been fetched. Again I got and the salary is 25,000. Now 25,000 is checked with the innermost query. 25 is with the 30? No. 25 with the 28? No. 25 with the 55? No. This process will be repeated. At the end, I will get only one employee whose salary 30,000, whose salary is equal to the total average salary. Now take another example. Retrieve the first name, last name of all employees who work for the department, research and headquarters. Now here we are making use of a two table. One is employee table, another is department table. The department table having a two attributes, department name and department number. I need to retrieve all the employees who is working for research and headquarters. Means I want to get the information the employee is working for the research and headquarters. Now what the innermost query will do? Select department number from department where department name in research and headquarters. Now the department name from the department, it is going to retrieve the information department name research, department name research. The first row has been fetched. First row has been fetched and it is going to check out whether it is the research is available in the innermost or not. Yes, research is available. Now this has been selected. The department number 5 has been got selected. Next, whether department name is available as a headquarters. Yes, headquarters is available. The department number 1 has been selected. These two is a result of innermost query. These two are the department number who is working for the research at headquarters. Now outermost query is going to fetch the result first one and it is going to retrieve department number. The department number is 5. Now 5 is going to be checked with the innermost query. Is 5 is available in the innermost query or not? Yes, the 5 is available in a 5. Then first name and last name is going to be written. John and Smith has been written. Now second row has been selected. Its department number is 5. Again I got the outermost query department number is 5. Again this 5 is compared with the innermost query. The 5 is available in the innermost query or not? Yes, 5 is available in the innermost query. Yes, again I will get the name, first name and last name. The third row has been selected. Its department number is 4. Here I got department number 4. This department number 4 is checked in an innermost query. Now 4 is compared with 5. It is not equal. Now 4 is compared with a 1. It is not equal. So this query is going to be written false. Means this row is not going to be get selected. Third row is not going to be get selected. Next again the fourth row is 4. Again 4 is not available as a result of innermost query. This is not going to be get selected. Again next row the department number 5. Yes, department 5 is there in the result of innermost query. Ramesh and Narayana as a result. At the end we will get a result as John Smith, Franklin, Ramesh, and James are the four person who is working for research and headquarters. This is how the in operator is going to be work for multiple rows subqueries. SQL allows the use of tuples of values in comparison by placing them in the parentheses. Means when I want to compare more than one tuple, then we need to make use of an parenthesis. Let us see an example. Retrieve the ESSN of all employees who work on the same project, hours. These are the two attributes. Combination on the some project that employ John Smith, whose ESN is 12345. I want to retrieve the a John Smith who is working on the project and duration of the project. This is a query. The innermost query. Select phone, project hour and hour. That's whatever the attribute I have took, the same attribute should be available in the outermost query while comparing. From the work on, where SSN is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Going to check SSN number. That is ESSN number. Now ESSN number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This row has been selected. This row has been selected. Only two rows has been selected, and its project hour, project number and hour. The project number is 1, project number 2, and hour is 32, 7.5. This is a result of innermost query. Now this result, innermost query result, has to be checked by the outermost query. Now what will be happen when I make use of a distinct ESN, the duplicate ESN number has been eliminated. Like that. So select distinct ESN means it should there the result, the duplicate ESN number is going to be eliminated and it is going to keep only one ESN number of the person. Works on where project number and hour. Now this query is going to be select, outermost query select project number and hour. The project number is 1 and hour is 32.5. That 1 and 32.5 is checked in the innermost query. Is there or not? Yes, it is there 1 and 32. So this row has been selected. Next, project number 2 and 75 is there. The project number 2 and 75 is compared with an result of innermost query. 2 and 75 it is also there. Again this is true. Project number 3 and 40. Project number 3 and 40 compared with the innermost query result. 3 is not there. The 3 is compared with project number 1. It is not true. 3 hour 40 is compared with 32. It is not there. Project number 3 is compared with the 2. It is not there. So false. So this is not going to be get selected. Next, project number 1 and hour is 20. Project number 1 and hour is 20. The project number 1 is there, but hour 20 is not there. So it is not going to be get selected. Same way, all the rows are going to be checked out. At the end, I am getting the result as 1 and 2 as an output. At the end, I am getting the result as ESSN. The ESSN is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is the only one result because of using distinct. Let us see, when I remove the distance, what should be get the result? That is another example here. Retrieve the ESSN of all the employees who work on the same project, combination on some project that employee joins me. Same question has been written, but instead of using distance, here normal ESSN is used. In previous example, when I performed an operation, I got these two as a result. Because of a distance, the duplicate values are going to be eliminated. Only one result I have got. When I execute this query, and I removed the distance, the output of this query will be both the rows. I will get 2 times ASN number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, again 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, because of non-distinct I have added to the ASSN. In this slide, we are discussing about multiple rows subqueries using any operator. Previous slides, we have discussed about multiple rows subqueries using in operator. A number of comparison operators can be used to compare a single value V, typically an attribute name, to a set or multiset uppercase V, typically a nested query. The any or some operator returns true if the value V to the some value in the set V. The any operator returns true if any of the subquery value meet the condition. Any operators are used with a where or adding clause. The keyword any or and some have same meaning. The operators that can be combined with a any operators are all the relational operator. For example, equal to any or equal to some operator returns true if the value V innermost query is equal to some value in the set V outermost query. The any operator is equivalent to in if and only if the any operator has been made use of an equal to relational operator. Let us see an example. Retrieve the list of product name if it finds any record in the order details table that quantity is greater than 10. When I use an equal, it is going to perform, when I use an equal with an any, it is going to perform similar operation as in operator. Now consider the two tables, products and order details. This is an outermost query, this is innermost query. Now innermost query has to retrieve the product ID from the ordered tables where quantity is equal to 10. Once the executing the innermost query, I will get the result as this one, this row, 2 and 4. These are the two product ID as quantity is equal to 10. Now the result of innermost query is ID is product ID is 2 and 4. 2 and 4. Remember here I am using equal to any, it performs similar operation as in operator. Now outermost query, select the product name from product where product ID, whether product ID is available in the innermost query or not. Now first row has been selected, the product ID is 1. The product ID is 1. Now 1 is checked with the result of innermost query. The 1 is available in a 2. No. So this is not selected. Again 1 is there in a second value. No, this is not selected. So the first row is not going to be get selected. Again the second row has been selected. The product ID is 2. Whether 2 is available in the innermost query? Yes, 2 is available in the innermost query. So this is true. Then third row has been selected. 3 is available, product ID 3 is available in the innermost query result? No, it is not there. Again compare with the 4, it is not there. So the result is false. This row is not going to be selected. Next, product ID 4. The product ID 4 is compared with the innermost query result. 4 with a 2, no. 4 with a 4, yes, it is in true. So this row has been selected. At the end, I will get a result as Micromax TV and LG TV has purchased the quantity is equal to 10. This is an example of any with equal operator. Any with equal operator perform similar operation as in operator. In this slide, we are discussing few more examples by making use of any operator along with the relational operator. Retrieve the name of employees whose salary is less than the salary of all the employees in the department 5. Means I need to retrieve the salary of the employees who is working for department 5, along with that salary has been compared with then all the employees who are working in the who is working and whose salary should be less than the employee working for the department number 5. Now for that the query is select last name first name from employee where salary is less than any, select salary from employee where department number is equal to 5. Now first innermost query is going to be executed. Now what the innermost query will do? It is going to fetch the first row and check the department number. The department number 5 is equal to 5, yes, true, and its corresponding salary is 30,000 has been written. Next it is going to select second row. Second row is 5, again the department number is 5, again it is 2 and its salary is 40,000. Then third row has been selected as department number 4 is there, it is not going to be get selected. Fourth row again department number is 4, it is not going to be selected. Fifth row department number is 5, yes its salary is 38,000. Its salary is 38,000, so salary 38,000 has been selected. Next department number 5 is there, again it has been selected, its salary is 25,000. This process will be repeated till the end of the rows. Once this is the result of innermost query. Now what is the job of outermost query is, it has to fetch the employee first name and last name whose salary should be less than the innermost query. The salary should be less than the employee is working for department number 5. When I use an any, the job of the any is, it is going to find out of this 4 result which is having the minimum salary. Out of this 4 result of innermost query, the minimum salary is 25,000. Now any will do, it is going to check including 25,000 and less than 25,000, those employee information is going to be get written. Now check out the outermost query. The first row has been executed and it is going to check out the salary is 30,000. Now 30,000 is compared with the 25,000 because 25 is the least value in the innermost query. That is the job of any. The any operator will always going to check out of this set which is having the minimum value. That minimum value is compared with the outermost salary is equal or less than, because I am using a less than operator. So 30,000 is compared with 25,000. So this is wrong. This row is not going to be get selected. Now second row has been selected. Its salary is 40,000. Now 40,000 is less than the 25,000. No, again this is wrong. So this row is not going to be selected. Now third row result is 25,000. 25,000 is compared with the innermost query. 25,000 is available in a innermost query 25, yes true, and it is equal to. So this row has been selected. I will get a result as Alika, and this as an output. Then fourth row has been selected. The 43,000 is there. 43,000 is compared with the 25,000. So it is not true. So this is not going to be get selected. And similarly 38, again 25 is there. Yes, this is the true. Again this is an true. At the end I will get the result as this row and Ahmad. These are the 3 persons who is having salary, who is having less than salary or equal to the equal to compare with the department number 5. Let us take another example. Retrieve the name of employees whose salary is greater than the salary of all the employees in the department 5. Here I am using greater than operator. Now same query has been written, instead of using less than, here we will making use of greater than. When I execute this, I will get the result, same result I will get 30,000, 40,000, 38,000 and 25,000. This is the result of innermost query. Now when I use a greater than along with an any, it says that out of the result as got from the an innermost query which is having the highest salary, that is going to be get selected. In innermost salary, the highest salary is 40,000. This 40,000 has been compared with the result of outermost query because I am using greater with any operator. In previous case, I am using less with any, means out of this, which is having the minimum salary, that salary will be compared with an outermost query because of less than with any. Here greater than any means out of this, which is having the highest salary, that salary will be compared with the outermost query. Now check out the first select last name, first name from the employee where salary. First row has been selected whose salary is 30,000. Now 30,000 is greater than 40. No, so this row is not going to be get selected. Next row is 40,000. Yes, next we selected as 40,000. 40,000 is greater with the innermost query. I told greater or equal. So 40 is there. So this row has been selected. This is a result I will get. Next salary is 25,000. Again it is failed. Next result is 43,000. Yes, 43 is greater than the what the result I got from the innermost query and selected 40. It is true. This row has been selected. Next 38 false, 25 false, 25 false, 55. Yes, 55 is greater than 40. Yes, true. I will get James 4. When I execute this query, I will get the result as I will get the result when I execute this query. I will get the result as this row, this row, and this result will be get for second query. Second query. And for the first query, I will get the result as 25 less than 25 means this row 25, this row and this row result will be get for the first query. This is how the any operator will be work with help of relation operator. In this slide, we are discussing about multiple rows subqueries using all operators. A number of comparison operators can be used to compare a single value V outermost query to a set or multi-set V innermost query. The comparison condition, the outermost query is greater than or with innermost query V returns true if value V is greater than all the values in the set or multi-set V. All operators returns true if any of the subqueries values met the condition. All operators are used with a where or having clause. The keyword all operators that can be combined with a relational operator. Let us take an example of explicit query with the help of an all operator. Display the name of student whose marks is less than 60, 75 and 70. Now, instead of using a subquery, I have made use of an explicit statement. Here I specified 60, 70 and 75. When I use less than all, what the less than all will say, out of this state, which is the having the minimum value that is going to be selected, and the outermost query result is going to be compared less than the selected value. Whereas in any, the outermost query is going to be checked less than the less than or equal to selected value. Here completely less than the selected value is going to be checked out. Now student name, select name from student where marks. Now first row has been selected and marks is 55. Now 55 is compared with the selected value. Whether 55 is less than 60? No, this is not going to be get selected. Again second student information, marks is 65. 65 is less than 60? No, this is not going to be get selected. Next 45. 45 is compared, 45 is less than the 60? Yes, true. This student ID is going to be written as output. Now 70 is compared with the 60. No, it is an false. This is not going to be selected. Now assume that instead of here 75, if it is having a 60, if it is having a 60, now 60 is compared with then 60. Whether 60 is less than 60? No. This is not going to be selected, especially when we are making use of an all. If I made use of a less than any, then the query is going to return true. The all says the selected value from this set should be less than of outermost query. Then the query is going to be written true. Next query, display the name of the student whose marks is greater than 60, 70 and 70 and 75. This is an explicit parenthesis written. Now we are making use of a greater than all. Now what the greater than all will do, the result out of these three results, which is the having the highest value, that is going to be selected. Now outermost query has to check whether the marks is greater than 75 or not. If marks is greater than 75, then query is going to be returned true and the name is going to be displayed. Here first row has been selected, 55 is compared with 75. So 55 is not greater than 75. This is not going to be selected. 65 is greater than 75? No. 45 is greater than 75? No. 70 is greater than 75? No. 75 is greater than 75? No. Again, in this case, no student information is going to be get displayed. Assume instead here we have is 80, 80, then 80 is greater than 75? Yes. Then I will get the student ID as 5. In second query, no results are going to be get obtained. In this slide, we are discussing few more examples by making use of an all operator for multiple row subqueries. Retrieve the name of employees whose salary is less than the salary of all the employees in the department 5. Now, main aim is to retrieve all the employees' salary who should be less than the employee working with the department number 5. This is question agenda. So for that the query is select last name, first name from employee where salary is greater than all. Select salary from employee where department number is 5. Now innermost query is going to be executed first. The first row has been fetched and department number 5 it's true and its salary is 30,000. I got salary 30,000. Now second row is selected. Yes, it is a true and got 40,000 as salary. Then third row is department number is 4. So this is not going to be get selected. It is false. Fourth row it is false. Fifth row it is true. Its salary is 38,000. Sixth row it is true. Its salary is 25,000. Seventh row false, eighth row false. These are the person not working for the department. This is the result of innermost query. When I use greater less than all, when I use less than all, out of this salary, out of the result got from the innermost, which is having the lowest result from the innermost, that is going to be get selected. Now 25 is the lowest result of the innermost query. This 25 is compared with the an outermost query. Now outermost query will be executed repeatedly and make comparison with the result of innermost query. The first row has been selected and its salary is 30,000. 30,000 is less than 25,000? No. So this is not going to be get selected. Next, 40,000 is great less than 25,000? No, this is not going to be get selected. Next, 25 is less than 25? No, this row is also not going to be get selected. If I am using NA, then automatically the result will be come. Here I am using an all, so this row is not going to be get selected. Next salary is 43,000. No. 38,000. No. 25,000. No. 25,000. No. 55,000. No. When I execute this query, the result will be empty set. Same thing, we'll go for another example. Retrieve the name of employees whose salary is greater than the salary of all the employees in the department 5. When I execute innermost query, I will get the result same 30,000, 40,000, 38,000 and 25,000. And 25,000. These are the result which I got from the innermost query. Now here I am using greater and all operator. Then greater and all operator, that will do whatever the result I got from the innermost query, out of this which is the having the highest salary, that value is going to be get selected. 40 has been selected. Now this 40 value is compared with the outermost query. If the outermost query salary is greater than 40, then particular employee information is going to be written. We'll see after executing the query what the result will get. The first row has been selected and its salary is 30,000. 30,000 is greater than 40? No, false. So first row is not going to be get selected. Second row is selected, 40 is got salary. Yes, 40 is greater than 40? No, this row is not going to be get selected because we are working with all operator. Next row result is 25. So 25 is greater than 40? No, this is also false. Next result is 43,000 salary I got. 43,000 is greater than 40,000? Yes, it is true. Then I will get a result as Jennifer as a first name. Next is 38,000. 38,000 is less than 40,000. No, it is wrong. 25,000. 25,000 is less than 40,000. Again, it is false. 25,000 again with the 40,000. Again, it is false. 55,000 is compared with the 40,000. Yes, it is true. Again, the result is given as James. After executing this query, I will get the result as Jennifer and James as an output for second query. These are the two persons who is getting the more salary compared to the person who is working for the department number 5. This is how all operator will work. Any will work the selected value equal to and greater than, where all will work the selected value should be greater than outermost value.